What we have here is the brand new Diamond S. This is actually a remake on an older shoe that we had in our collection called the Diamond Lace Up that was on our eccentric last. We've updated the last to be a little bit more aggressive in the front end and a little bit narrower and straighter in the back end. So we're doing eccentric 2.0 now. The new model is a change up from a lace up to a slipper fit. We've added a more aggressive 3D midsole in the toe box of our shoe. For anyone that's familiar with the Ozone, the 3D midsole is a double layer midsole in the toe box. The midsole in here is more aggressive, paired with the aggressive tweaking in the last, gives us this more grabby toe on the very front of it. Unlike the Ozone, the Diamond pairs the 3D midsole with our super sticky 1.5 cat rubber that has a little perforation in the middle of the toe box. This gives this shoe a really great balance of edging power and sensitivity. You can still drop that concave and smear really well with it, but you've got this nice grabby, pointy toe. You can get into pockets. The large 3D toe patch on the front for toe hooking also has some relief windows cut into it for comfort. And we've updated the sock inner on the slipper to create this pull tab for adjusting the shoe as you put it on, but it also gives you a little bit more stretch for getting into the shoe. This way we can eliminate any sort of excess material in the sock fit and give you this nice adjustment feature for getting it on and getting comfortable really quickly in the shoe. This shoe also features a riff on one of our other shoe technologies, which is the 3/4 system. The 3/4 system is an extra rand wrap that creates torsional stability in the shoe. This shoe has a sort of mini version of it. This torsional stability strap here creates some support to the outside edge of the shoe, but it's not fully wrapped around the way it is on some of our other shoes. So it's like a light torsional support. The intention with this shoe is to really balance the sensitivity with the support of the 3D midsole and the more aggressive downturn. So I think that having like the full 3/4 system would bring this shoe closer to the Ozone, but we already have the Ozone, which is that really super stable edging powerhouse shoe. This shoe was intended to have a little bit more sensitivity, so decreasing that strap allows a little bit more mobility in your foot, a little bit more flexibility. Because of the stickiness and the aggressive nature of the toe box, this shoe is really going to shine in the steep stuff. It's going to do really great for steep sport climbing and bouldering, and it's got that really nimble feel to it where you can switch from pushing really hard and smearing with your toe to also hooking with the toe or setting the heel. So I would say steep terrain in the shorter range. If you are climbing really long technical vertical face, you might want something a little bit stiffer, but this is really going to be a powerhouse both in the gym and for your steep outdoor sport climbing projects. Price point is $179.95. And it'll be available in spring of 2025. So that'll be landing sometime in February, March of next year. I think it would do really well on lots of sandstone smearing, the bouldering in the south. It would perform really, really well on steeper granite climbing where you're switching from smearing to edges. You're doing like bigger movements and you really need that versatility of, using the top of your toe as well as standing on stuff. So I've used this shoe a ton in Boulder Canyon, and it's been really amazing there. Here the routes aren't super long, but you've got some really bouldery cruxes. So because this shoe is built on the foundation of such a well-loved legacy shoe, a lot of their testing involved trying this shoe out on Diamond lace-up wearers that were really devoted to that previous Diamond version and seeing how they felt about the transition and making sure that all of the updates were truly executing as an improvement on the shoe as opposed to actually changing the original shoe. What we really wanted to do is create something that if you loved the original Diamond, you would probably love this even more. And so that was their angle through the testing and the development of it. Our collection is geared towards foot shape specifically. And what we really aim to do is create a shoe that is specific to a certain type of foot, whether that be an Egyptian foot where the big toe is the longest toe and the power point for that climber, or the Greek foot shape where the middle two toes are the longest and that's the more natural power point. The Diamond S is in the unique range of shoes in our collection that can do both. And it's really easy to tell from looking at the bottom of the shoe what the shape is. If you flip the Diamond S over, you can see that there is a little bit of an angle in towards the big toe, angling at the power point of the shoe, which is slightly more centralized than our true Egyptian last, which is the Havoc right here. The true Egyptian last works really well for somebody who has that straight line along the inside of their big toe. This is the person that really doesn't like any pressure pushing that big toe into the middle of the shoe. On the other side of things, like I said, the Diamond can do both Greek or an Egyptian foot. Our true Greek last, you can see that the angle cuts in even further to that power point of the shoe. So this is the person that has that true Morton's toe where the middle of their foot is the longest part of their foot and is the real power point. This shoe is going to fit them with that super specific power point. The Diamond is right in the middle. And we do see a lot of climbers that when we look at their foot shape, we can say like, oh, you're both. You really are like right in between. Your second toe is the same length as your big toe. Your big toe angles in just slightly. And this is a lot of people because they grew up wearing narrow-footed shoes that directed the shape of their foot into this particular shape. That being said, I'm a true Greek foot and I can wear this shoe as well. And I've seen a couple of Egyptian-footed climbers testing this. So it really depends on how you feel about the angle of the inside edge, whether this is going to be the correct fit for you. To compare it to other shoes in our collection, this is a really similar shape to our shoe, the Fury, or the shoe that we released this year, the Sigma. Those are both considered an Egyptian shape, but also a shoe that can do both. This is a wider version of the shape that the Fury is. So if you loved the Fury but felt like you wanted something a little bit wider, the Diamond is definitely going to be your shoe. The Diamond this is a true average volume shoe. I think if you have a slightly wider foot, you can get away with it. If you have a slightly narrow foot, you can also be totally comfortable in the shoe. If you have a really, really skinny, low volume foot, you're going to want to lean towards the Fury. If you have a significantly wider foot, you're going to want to lean towards the Ozone high volume. So far, the Diamond fits really close to how the Fury and the Havoc and the Sigma fit people, which is very close to street shoe size, maybe a half size down or up to a full size down if you like your shoes really, really tight. Our collection is not designed for aggressive downsizing. So if you're downsizing 2, 3, 4 sizes, you're likely not even going to get your foot in the shoe. I always tell people aim for street shoe size. If you're someone who likes really, really tight shoes, you can go down up to a full size, but you're going to be pretty close to your street shoe sizing. I always tell people that the shoe should feel like a really good hug from a friend you haven't seen in a long time. It should be real snug around your whole foot, but it shouldn't be like if you pull the shoe on and you can barely get your heel into it, it feels like the heel is pulling down, like you can't get your heel all the way into the bottom of the heel cup. That's one indication that the shoe might be too small for you. If when you do get it on, the middle of your arch instantly cramps up and you can't relieve that, that's also probably an indication that the shoe is a little bit too small for you. That being said, some people do climb that way. Usually if the shoe is too undersized, you're going to feel most of the weirdness in the heel. The toe box is going to feel like it's squeezing you, like you're too squished into it, but you're going to feel the odd performance in the heel. It's going to feel like the shoe wants to pop off of your foot or like you can't get into the heel entirely.